So number one, I enjoy the look of how the locks are without retwisting. However, when I stopped retwisting, I was probably in month 6 of my lock journey, and my locks weren't mature. As a matter of fact, I was just about to go into the teenage phase of locks, and I didn't know what my locks would look like when they were fully mature. Now I know that when your locks are fully mature, you need a lot less maintenance. Like, you don't need that much retwisting, and whatever your maintenance of choice is, your hair is already trained to be there. So when your hair is in its baby lock stage, it's not really trained to be locked. And that's what the locking process is. That's what the lock journey is. Hey y'all, welcome back to Holistic Flow. I am your girl Lolo, and in this video today, I'll be talking about why I don't retwist my locks and why I won't be retwisting my locks ever. I won't say never, but I can't see it in the foreseeable future. A lot of people ask me, do I retwist? Like, what's my routine for maintenance? And honestly, the way that my locks have been looking lately, it's like I might as well be freeforming. But I can't say that I'm fully freeforming, because to me, freeforming means that it is just, you just don't do any type of maintenance except washing, because that counts as maintenance for me. But as far as manipulation maintenance, you don't really do any of that. No separation, nothing that puts the loose hair in parts or sections. And I'll tell you what my maintenance routine is and why it is that, and I'll get into that. But let's go ahead and get started. Like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Mind, body, spirit connection, the stuff I used to say in my intro, but I don't anymore because it's kind of long. Let's go ahead and get right into the video. So as you can see, I have a pretty big bun. All right, and my bun is a little heavy, but I learned how to put it on the crown of my head, which is like more forward than back. If you want to see that tutorial on how to do your bun if you have a lot of hair, then go right here or right here. I think it's right here, and look at that video. But let's see, I've had my locks for about I've had my locks for about 2 years and 8 months, because it was in November 2020 that I first started my locks with 2-strand twists. And whenever my locks are down, you can definitely see the 2-strand twist pattern still at the end, especially. But I always knew that I wanted to keep texture in my locks. Here's something I don't think I've ever said on this channel. One of my lock inspirations, who was like the catalyst of my lock journey and me starting, is West Indy Ray. West Indy Ray, I'll show a couple pictures of her locks on the screen. She started her locks a little bit before, probably like a year before I started my journey. And when I was looking at her journey, she decided to start with 2-strand twists. She has a little bit of a looser texture than I do, but she decided to still retwist her locks, but she didn't, palm roll the bottom. At the bottom of her lock, she still had the texture with it. It was like the 2-strand twist texture, and because her natural hair texture was so curly and coily, it kept that, bubbly texture as her locks started to mature. And I was like, I like that, because it gives your locks a more unique look. So when I had my lock journey, I knew that I wanted to have more texture in my locks, but of course I knew I always wanted larger locks, right? So I started with 74, and I now have 68 because I've combined a few. If you want to see how I combine my locks, I'll put the playlist of how I combine my locks and the journey with that in the description box, or probably in the pinned comment or something like that. Now, within the first 5 months of my lock journey, I thought that retwisting was cool, so I did it once a month. Actually, for the first 3 months, I retwisted my hair every month at the top of the month, right before my 1 month mark. So probably the first week of November, and then by And then by the time March came around, I knew that I wanted to start slowing down the, frequency at which I was retwisting. So I wanted to retwist a lot less. I probably started retwisting, every month and a half or 2 months or whatnot. I really can't remember. Well, all I know is that in May of 2021, I was like, okay, I just want to stop retwisting, because the main things that kind of like got on my nerves about retwisting was, one, I always did my hair. And that's just been a thing ever since I was little. And so never once during my lock journey did I ever think, I might go and look to see if I can go to a loctician. I think locticians are amazing, but I never felt the need to go to one. So I was always doing my hair, and I did not like to do retwist. So that was number one. I just didn't like it. It didn't take too much time, maybe like 2 or 3 hours, but at the same time, I just didn't really like it. I wanted less maintenance. So that was thing number one. Thing number two was that I didn't like those clips. And if you've seen my visual lock journey, either 1 year or 2 year visual lock journey, you've seen this picture that I'm about to put on the screen right now. And my face is like a literal visual representation of how I did not enjoy using those clips, because those clips, sometimes I would put them on and then it would like unravel or whatnot, and I felt like I wasn't using them right, and I had to use 50-11 of them in order to get my locks to stay down, and then I had to go into the dryer, or I had to air dry, and it was just so much with retwisting. So maybe if I did go to a loctician, it would have been a lot better, but I just really enjoy doing my hair. It's that type of self-care for me is like ritualistic, so it's important for me to take that time out to do my own hair. But at the same time, I knew that I wanted to stop retwisting and semi-freeform. And at first, what that looked like to me was just not retwisting at all. And so semi-freeform, for those who are not really sure, that's a term that the lock community uses to describe any sort of lock maintenance that is in between freeform, which is no maintenance, no physical maintenance at all, to traditional. So anything in between freeform and traditional, which traditional is mainly you get your retwists probably like every month, or every 2 weeks, and they always look polished and probably more cylindrical. You maintain the parts and all that. Some people don't maintain the parts, but they still got the cylindrical look. They get retwists, So anything in between that is semi-freeform. So when you use like the minimum amount of maintenance, for some people that's like retwisting once a year. For others, that may be retwisting like twice a year. But at most, I think semi-freeform is probably you retwist 4 or 3 times a year at most. And so if your maintenance looks anything like that, then you could, technically classify your locks as semi-freeform locks, or if you don't retwist at all, but that you started off with some type of formation. Like if that you intentionally 2-strand twisted your locks and then left them alone and never did any maintenance, it's still considered semi-freeform by the locks community's definition. Or if you put in comb coils and then you left it alone, it's still considered semi-freeform locks, because it's not freeform to where you just let it form on its own. I hope that makes sense. So number one, I enjoy the look of how the locks are without retwisting. However, when I stopped retwisting, I was probably in month 6 of my lock journey, and my locks weren't mature. As a matter of fact, I was just about to go into the teenage phase of locks, and I didn't know what my locks would look like when they were fully mature. Now I know that when your locks are fully mature, you need a lot less maintenance. Like you don't need that much retwisting, and whatever your maintenance of choice is, your hair is already trained to be there. So when your hair is in its baby lock stage, it's not really trained to be locked. And that's what the locking process is. That's what the lock journey is. So number one, I liked the fuzzy look. I liked not being able to see my scalp, and I liked that it wasn't that much maintenance. I could just leave my hair alone a little bit more and then just look at the growth more. But I will say that not retwisting your locks does make your hair grow thicker. My hair is in a bun right now, but I'll insert some pictures, some videos of the length of some of my locks. So as you see the full length of my locks, the roots probably to about halfway down the roots is much thicker than the ends of my locks. And I believe that that's because I stopped retwisting and my hair had a lot more time to thicken up. And retwisting kind of compacts the locks into smaller sections, into smaller locks. When you don't retwist, it has more space to expand, because as your locks are maturing, they are expanding and getting more full. And if you retwist or palm roll your locks while they are trying to mature, it's more likely that they're going to come out a little bit smaller than if you don't retwist. So not only will they be a lot healthier looking because they'll be thicker, but they'll also be more full. You know, they'll have a stronger base because you don't manipulate them. And overall, throughout this journey, I've just realized that the less maintenance, at least for me, the less maintenance that you put on your hair, the better. And I would venture to say that for everybody, but I don't know everybody's circumstance. I don't know if you have, you know, a job environment or just a personal preference or whatever that you need to or feel more necessary to style your hair in a certain way. So I wouldn't say that it's for everybody, but there's certainly a look, and I would even say a different type of style, you know, dress wise, a little different type of energy that comes with semi freeform locks or even freeform locks. It's a lot more free feeling, and whenever I allow my hair to just do what it wanted to, it started to like me more. I feel like it started to like the freedom that I was giving it, and that is one of the reasons that my hair grows so fast, because I do semi freeform my locks, because I don't retwist. Now, instead of retwisting, what I do is braiding my new growth into my locks. I also have a video on that. I have maybe 2 videos on that. So if you want to see how I do that, click the info card right here to watch that video. I've been doing that maintenance routine of braiding my new growth into my locks probably for about a year now. And that's one of the things that has contributed more to the thickness of my locks, because when your fuzziness is really fuzzy and you want to put it back into the lock at a faster pace than if you had completely freeform locks, then, you know, if you have freeform locks, then your extra hairs probably don't grow into the lock as fast. So if you want your hair to grow into the locks that you already have, then you can do that braiding your hair, your new growth into your locks method, and it works well for me. So I hope that it works well for you if you try it. If you try it, let me know how you like it. Let me know what method of maintenance that you use for your locks personally. And I hope to see you in the next video. Until then, I'm sending peace your way, love your way, and joy to you, your family, and your friends. All right, y'all. Peace. Hey y'all, I have some super exciting news for you. Go ahead and mark your calendars for next Thursday, July 27th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, what's all the hype about? Well, I'll be launching my brand new ebook. It's called The Mindfulness Blueprint: 6 Steps to a Consistent Meditation Practice. If you've been wondering what mindfulness is all about, maybe if you've never meditated before, or if you already have a meditation practice and you want to learn how to get consistent at it, disciplined, so that you can focus more, relieve stress, and live an overall healthier life, physically, mentally, spiritually, then this is the book for you. Here's the deal. You want to be in that room next Thursday, July 27th at 8 p.m. You want to know why? Because if you're in the room, you'll get first dibs access on the launch sale. That is a sale that is going to be for a limited time, only on that day and only for the people who are in the room. In the launch party, I'm going to be reading a little bit of snippets from the book, giving you a little bit of what you can expect from it, some perspectives of my own practice and how I cultivated it and became consistent and disciplined, and how you can do the same thing too. So if you want to transform your mind, not only that, but also your life, this is the book for you. Be in the room, go to the link, and I'll see you there.